Hey everybody, welcome to Thursday night in the Davis's kitchen.
I'm here.
We're waiting on Mr. Davis.
I'm here.
We had to go turn off the TV so we don't get, sued for airing things we're not supposed to be airing, like the news. So he's making his way back.
I take my time.
Yeah, well, that and we have, 3 dogs to step over and an obstacle course, and
Yeah,
it is what it is.
it is.
So,
Hey, everybody.
I think by now you know who we are, but I'm Nikki,
I'm Chili.
and we're the Davises,
We are.
as always. So what are we doing tonight? What is tonight?
Tonight is date night.
It is date night.
It is.
Yeah.
I put on frou-frou smelly juice. I got cleaned up. I got on clean underwear. So,
Men.
it's date night, folks.
So my friend Stephanie said that to me this afternoon when I told her what we were cooking. Because last week I decided we needed to kind of lift up the scale a little bit on what we've been showing folks.
So needed a better underwire?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know what Mike Haynes always said.
Yeah, that's right.
Knockers up.
Yeah. Hello, Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer. So tonight we are doing a little bit fancy, just a wee bit fancy.
A little fancier than taco salads, that's for sure.
Well, when you're hungry for taco salad, you eat a taco salad.
You make a taco salad.
But that's right.
Easy.
But I got inspired this week because I wrote an article for the newspaper about Gulf Coast cooking.
You did.
And specifically along the Florida, side of the Gulf Coast, and got out a couple of quasi-old cookbooks. And I think this one is 20 years old, so I guess that qualifies it as an old cookbook these days. And remade a couple of recipes that I found in it. And this is from that cookbook. It's Gulf Coast Cooking. And I think it was published in 2000 or 2001, so a couple of years old. But it was a recipe for scallops in a lime sauce. And so I kind of remade that a little bit for what we can find here. That recipe called for key limes and some other things that aren't necessarily easy to get here. So we're using scallops, but we can't get fresh scallops, so we're using frozen. They are, however, from Florida. I always make sure I do my best to buy seafood at the grocery store that's from the U.S.
Yep.
And these are sustainably caught and harvested, I guess is technically the term, but and packaged and shipped. So,
Hi, Jill.
Well, frozen.
Frozen. They're here.
They're here, and we're going to use them.
And we're going to eat them.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Jill. And with that, we're going to use, I'm going to do a creamy lime sauce because I have some pappardelle pasta. Pappardelle.
Okay.
So pappardelle is a really thick pasta, kind of an egg noodle pasta, which I'll show you later, with some roasted asparagus. And what are we going to start off to drink?
We're going to have a boulevardier.
That's fancy.
A boulevardier is what it is. It's got a little history. So it dates back to the time when the U.S. was under prohibition and all of our fancy bartenders went overseas because they could make money overseas.
Yep.
So those, East Coast fancy dancy bartenders, they knew that, the U.S. had bourbon and whiskeys, but they weren't real sure about, and they knew that, the U.S. had some vermouth, some sweet vermouth here, but they didn't know is this Italian stuff, this Campari and Aperol. They didn't know what that existed. So when they got over to the Paris and the France and that area, they were intermixed with all of the different.
Right. They learned some tricks. Thankfully.
So the story is that this beverage actually came about because of an American bartender. And there's a couple of different stories on it. It's an American bartender and an American expat who moved over to Europe, got together and they created this thing.
That's cool. And then somebody brought it back to the U.S. at some point.
After Prohibition ended, they said, "I'm going back home."
Going back home
because I like it there. So that's where it is.
I wonder how many drinks that we drink today happened because of that reason.
Because of prohibition?
Yeah.
Probably. I doubt, yes, a lot of them could be tied back to prohibition, but only because prohibition happened. You know, those drinks today would have been just as easy because.
Well, today, sure.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's just that it timed it at that time frame because of those happenings. But, you know, in today's world,
story.
Yeah.
We like a little history.
Can I get a little ice?
Yeah, how much ice do you want?
A little bit. I gotta do.
Quarter up?
Yeah, quarter or so. So to make this, we're gonna make it a little different than this recipe is. There's all sorts of different recipes on this. And we're going to make this one the way I want to make this one, and not necessarily the way that it's in the books.
That's okay. It's a recipe.
Because, you know, I'm not going to give credit to anybody on this one because this is different than what I saw.
Well, we probably don't know who to give credit to exactly.
So this we're going to use for the two of us because we're who we are. We're going to go with 6 ounces.
Oh, well.
Of bourbon. Well, we do put it away a little bit, so.
In true salute fashion?
Yeah, true salute fashion.
There you go. We'll just let people figure out what that means.
6 ounces of bourbon. And then we want.
Do I need to scroll?
No, I know what it is. I just gotta.
Oh, math in his head, folks.
Yeah. We're gonna go with. Well, that one we're gonna go with 3 ounces because I overpoured of sweet vermouth. And you want sweet vermouth. You don't want dry vermouth for this.
Too dry.
It will be too dry. And we're going to go with 2 1/4 ounces.
Dog incoming.
Well, I figured.
Curious what we're doing. It smells good. That smells good.
2 1/4 ounces of Campari. And so what we did really was make. Oh, actually, you know what?
Did we forget something?
No, I didn't do something right because.
Uh-oh. Mathematician.
Failed because I was doing 4-3-3 and not. So I need to do.
So you'll have to repeat.
Yeah. So we're going to make it 3 ounces of Campari and we're going to get another ounce of. Hey, you know what? Let's go this way. Because this will be a ounce and a half, 3/4 ounce, 3/4 ounce mix.
A quarter seems super specific. I'm kind of with you. Of course, I don't measure, which is why I don't bake. I just kind of dump and pour. And
then we're going to stir. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't show the.
Oh, you're right. We didn't.
Where?
I'm working on it.
Show the drink. So number 3, all 3.
Thank you. Shortcuts.
And you might want to click on that one because it's there. You go.
Oh, that'll work.
Yeah, look at there. There we go.
We got it.
Stir. And then you want to put some ice in some glasses?
I will do that too.
Normally, I would say this was mine, but what I put in there, and I want to be able to function later.
Well, here, then fill up the little glass first. Oh, you need an orange. You want an orange?
I need 2 orange twists.
2 orange twists.
Yep, 2 orange twists, please. And then we're going to garnish this
with my very poor rendition of a orange peel for a twist that just broke.
That's okay.
One broken.
That's okay. With an orange twist.
Ooh, that orange smells good.
You want to squeeze, get it out a little bit.
I didn't actually do that. well enough to squeeze.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned.
There we go. Your little stir. Your little stir.
All right. It is a pretty color.
It's a beautiful color. Let's go back to the big screen.
Okay.
So people might be able to see it a little bit better. Get that out of the way.
I'm going to scoot over so I'm actually in the camera.
Cheers.
Cheers. Woo!
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Wow, babe.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually almost Saluki maroon.
Some fancy stuff right there.
I think maybe I'm going to have to maybe only drink maybe one.
That glass will be all right. For you. I'll do some more.
You'll do some more. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, look at there.
Somebody has to work tomorrow.
Oh, I'll be fine. All right, so that's us. We'll ship it back over to you.
So I'm going to put some asparagus in the oven just to get the pan out of the way. And it might be done before I need it to be done, and we'll just deal with that. Excuse me. Woo, yeah. So are we overhead? Thank you.
You're overhead.
So I bought this from the grocery store yesterday, so it's relatively fresh. And if you ever bought asparagus from the store, you know it comes rubber banded together. I typically leave those bands on, and when I store asparagus, this I just put in the fridge last night because I knew I was going to use it. But if you store it for more than like the overnight, what you want to do is put this, and I don't have a mason jar available to show you, but set this down in a mason jar or a glass or something with a little bit of water in the bottom to keep the stalks fresh, and set that. That's actually a little bit big. Well, maybe that would work, but you only want water up to about here on the bottom. And if you're storing it for more than a couple of days, you'll want to change that water out so it doesn't get all mushy. Thank you. Your asparagus doesn't get all mushy. So again, if you're storing it for more than just the overnight, then you need to store it in some water to keep these stalks fresh and crisp. Otherwise, they will go wilty on you in a few days. So I'm going to go ahead, we won't eat all of this, but I'm going to go ahead and roast it because I throw it in soups and omelets and scrambled eggs and all sorts of things after it's cooked. So a couple of things with asparagus. I'm going to show you how you're supposed to do things, and then I'm going to show you how I do things. So when you get asparagus, you want to make sure that you trim this very bottom end off. I think I am buffering over here.
No, you're fine.
No, okay. Because from about here down, and you can kind of, I think you can see the color change. It's really pale and it gets a little bit darker here. Kind of in that general vicinity is where you're going to want to break, because this down here is very woody and very rough and fibrous, and you don't want to try to eat that. So kind of the old wives' tale trick is if you break it, bend it like this and break it, it's going to break where that flavor and texture changes. I don't know how true that is. It's old wives' tale. So I will do that for one, and then I will measure, and then I will cut, and not try to do all of them that way. If you've got, a compost pile or something in the backyard, these are great for that. They're, good for vegetable stock if you kind of strain them out of the stock later. Beyond that, they're not good for much because you can't really eat them. Mine are going in the trash, so sorry. So for this is a real super simple preparation. I've got my oven on, I've got it on 365, but I have a convection oven, so I would do this on 375, not on convection. Spread these out on a sheet pan where you can use any kind of olive oil, any kind of oil really you want. I've used sesame oil with sesame seeds before, flavored olive oils. Tonight, because of what we're having, I'm just going to use a regular extra virgin olive oil.
We're going to sacrifice to the oven?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
A little salt.
Lots of salt, really.
Yeah, for asparagus, it'll take it. And I'm going to do a little cracked pepper just for a little
Season.
Yeah, but you could do, garlic powder, any kind of seasoning you want on asparagus. It's going to be fine.
So the last time I think we did asparagus, we talked about how it makes your peas stink.
Yeah. I don't remember if I roasted it that night or not.
I don't remember what you did with it.
I have no idea what I did with it.
I don't remember if we did it on the grill or
if we were just talking about it.
I've
just been talking about it.
Could have been.
I don't remember having asparagus recently.
It's been a while, I think.
I just kind of roll it around in the pan so it's kind of coated. You don't have to do anything fancy here, like toss it around in bowls or whatnot. If you had some lemons, sliced, that would be lovely with it, or lemon flavored olive oil, or any number of things.
You know what we really need for a drink is some moonshine. I think there's somebody on the show tonight that makes some pretty decent moonshine.
Do we need some decent moonshine?
Yeah.
I have moonshine out there, but
yeah. So I might be able to hopefully bring some moonshine.
Oh my God, we might have a sponsor.
Well, we might have a sponsor, a moonshine sponsor.
Okay, so
what do you think, audience? Should we have a moonshine sponsor?
Only if you can say it 3 times real fast.
No.
Okay. Okay, so asparagus went in the oven, do 375, 385, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I like mine still really crispy, so it's not going to be in there for more than about 10 minutes. So
do I need to set the Alexa?
Maybe set Alexa.
Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Starting now.
All right.
Perfect. We have a timer for 10 minutes.
And later I'm going to throw the end of my Panera French bread in that oven too.
All right, I'm going to bring this over.
Yep, because that's where I need to go next. I might need to go put my hair in a ponytail, to be honest with you. It's warm in here.
It'll be okay.
With everything going on. Okay, so onto the scallops. You're there, that's perfect. So I have little teeny tiny bay scallops. And I was going to grab some scallop shells. Can you do me a favor? In the pie safe, somewhere on the left side, I think, is a stack of like real scallop shells. See if you can find them for me. Thank you.
Okay.
So we're going to get our pan nice and hot. These are the little guys, little bay scallops. Scallops come in kind of 2 sizes, big and little, although there's some variation there. But these are bay scallops. Sea scallops are quite a bit bigger, about that big around probably. You can use those for this too, but I would cut them. I don't like cutting my scallops necessarily, so I use the little guys. And
I'm looking.
Oh, okay. It's pretty bad when you need a flashlight to get into the pie safe of dishes. If you can't find it, I'll look for it when I get done. Roughly 2 tablespoons, maybe 3 from the looks of that, of olive oil in a pan. And we're going to make, I'm kind of known for the pan sauces, that should be my name. We're going to make our lime cream sauce in this pan, so we might need more olive oil later. These guys have to be thawed if you're using frozen, and nice and dry. And these are still a little bit moist on the bottom there, but no big deal. All right, so that's nice and hot. And what is just enough of a sear on these to get them cooked through. And you know when they're cooked, and it does not take long, a couple minutes at the most. And I'm going to kind of let them sit for a minute. Thank you. Let them sit for a minute, and then I'll kind of stir, turn them a bit. These little guys won't, they'll kind of get seared on the bottom, but I don't want to cook them quite that far because I'm afraid I'm going to overcook them. Because if you do overcook them, they are tough and not fun to eat. I'd still eat them, but I'm just saying. Grab the hands off.
There's another person on the line that has connection to moonshine. Some West Virginia moonshine.
Hey, Thornton.
Yeah.
Okay, so I stole these from my mother. Don't done that
Moon ago.
many a moon ago. And she always used these on grill. You can actually cook in these. And you can
Jennifer had a question. She says, "Can you do a ceviche with scallops?" Question should be, should you do a ceviche with scallops?
absolutely. You can do ceviche with really any you want to, because so it's really good well, and it's basically some variety of seafood, and it's a salad kind of,
Yeah.
but it's the seafood's not cooked. It is marinated in vinegar, which kind of technically cooks the seafood. Yeah,
Acid cooked by acidation.
Yeah. One of my favorite things. So yes, absolutely, you can use, and I would use these little guys in a heartbeat, something like that. Kind of giving me some ideas there, Jennifer. Okay, so you can actually kind of see where the little was sitting in this one. One thing I did learn, and for those of you who are really adventurous about like maybe catching your own
I
food.
think it might be you, Deb.
What?
She's paused with the camera.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay. You can actually harvest your own scallops. There's a couple of places where you can do that. All right, so these guys were not totally dry, and you can see that they're losing their moisture a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and stir them.
Was there butter in there?
It's olive oil, but
Just olive oil?
they're losing
yeah,
their moisture
losing
because they were
moisture,
still too wet. And you know what? That's okay.
Just more sauce.
Yeah. So they're not going to get too much of a brown crisp on them. I mean, I can move that out of the way and get them crispy, but I'm not overly concerned about it for these little guys.
I'll eat them, and it's just fine for me.
Now, if I had great big sea scallops, I had them dry, and they have to be seared off really well.
Yeah. That'll be fine.
So
they'll go well, of course, with tea.
Yeah. So when they're done, well, they're not going to be able. You guys are not going to be able to tell this on camera. But if you touch them, they're going to be pretty firm to touch. When you touch them raw, they're a little squishy still. If you kind of poke them, you'll know when they're done. They firm up.
Oh.
And these are.
Oh.
Those are almost. Woo! That was a.
Mediacom is a connection.
Is it?
Yeah. It might be just Mediacom, being Mediacom.
Well, type in the chat that we'll hang out until we know for sure it's okay. I gotta find something to put these in anyway. All right, and get the pajamas out. Pardon the letting of dogs out. Come on.
The dog bites us.
You're not going out? Okay.
Oh.
Did we croak?
I have. We're still here, but we're having trouble connecting.
Send my text and see if there's something going on with it. Yes.
Try to.
I know. So in case anyone can hear me, we're trying to figure out if it's us lagging or, let's see. No, it's probably us. Phoebe's at mom's.
No, it's not us. Not the kiddo.
Do that a little bit while we're trying to figure out the situation. Yeah. I'm gonna check. We may have to stop and start over, which I hate because it screws up on YouTube.
Ah,
What?
yep. Jennifer says, and we're back.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, good deal.
Well, so just kind of hang out. If it goes in and out, I'm not sure what's going
Sort
on.
of.
Yeah.
She says sort of.
MediaCom might get a phone call tomorrow. It was fine most of today. I didn't have any issues with it. Okay, so hopefully we're back enough that you guys can hear. I removed the scallops from the pan. Asparagus is almost done. I put another tablespoon of oil in the pan, and I'm going to turn it back on because you always turn the gas stove off when you're
Add no.
well, if you're maneuvering things in and out of the pan. Sorry, I actually need my recipe on this one because I don't remember. Scary thought, huh? Now the internet's weird because I can't get to my recipe. Okay, we're gonna wing it. All right, so roughly 2 tablespoons of flour in this. I'm just gonna keep going.
Alexa, cancel.
The asparagus,
10-minute timer stopped on middle range.
I turned it off.
Okay.
All right, are we back? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear us? We're just kind of going.
Internet. Okay, I'm creating a roux. I hope you guys can hear us. If not, it's going to be a spotty episode because we could have recorded it on. Actually, I do have StreamYard, I think, records. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I've got a little bit of a blondish roux there. That we're going to start with. And will you, because I'm messing with that, forgot to cut my limes.
Mm-hmm.
Will you cut those? Cut limes, please.
Okay. You have a knifer for me?
I do, but watch out because it's coming in hot.
Oh my, you're gonna give me the big one.
I am.
How you want me to cut these?
Just in half so I can squish the juice out.
Oh, okay. So you just want me to have them.
Yeah, so roughly a 1/4 cup of wine, white wine. And then to get us started here. I might want more of that later. Oh! Internet threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
And about, thank you. Yeah, I actually do need them juiced, but they can be juiced right into the pan.
Where's the juicer?
In my hand. But I've got gloves.
Well, I can start.
Okay, you stir. I'll squeeze. All right, so about a 1/2 cup of cream, and we're going to thin this out substantially with some lime juice. A little bit of white wine. Juice from, a couple limes. And if
These are our $2 limes from
these
Schnuckers.
are our $2 limes from Schnucks, yeah. If you really wanted to get into it, you could zest some limes. Thank you. This is not going to take long.
It's just slipping and sliding all over the place now.
Oh, that was a little tough guy.
Mm. Is it spitting on you?
It is.
Don't let it get in your eye.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to, let's still pretty thick in it.
Yeah, I'd say so. Go ahead. Here's your.
Thank you. All right. So now roughly a cup. And when I build, what?
Jennifer says you made her give in and pick up a flat whisk.
Oh, yay, it's so much fun. And then we also have the juice from the scallops going to go back in this when it's all said and done. All right, I'm going to take this off the heat totally. And we're going to move on to the steak. Well, and that's going to thicken up as it sits, and we'll just have to thin it back out a little bit.
We got plenty of stuff to thin it out with. We got bourbon, we got
maybe another wine.
Yeah, we got some wine.
You know what else we have?
Sweet vermouth.
We have strip steaks.
New York strippers.
So I was afraid that my husband wouldn't survive on scallops alone.
And it's date night, so.
So I bought him a stripper steak.
Yeah. That's right. Because I needed one.
Clearly. Okay. A little bit of olive oil in the pan. You could use butter if you wanted to.
I like butter.
I know you like butter. Okay, so strip steaks, really warm. I'm always warm. When I do them inside, I use cast iron, screaming hot pan, butter or olive oil, and get that olive oil
all smeared around.
all over. Use a toothbrush if you need to. Squirt pop while they're heating.
I'm telling you, it's date night, Jennifer. She's trying to butter me up or something.
Right now, I'm going to get the end of my
bread.
Panera French bread. Yeah. So I did etiquette training the other night, and I realized I didn't have any bread. So I ordered lunch from Panera and had them bring me bread too. And it's just going to go in on top of the asparagus that's in a warm but not turned on oven.
Sunday, I left you outside, good girl.
Oh, Mila's still outside?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so cast iron heats up pretty quick. Don't actually touch it if you do what I'm doing, because that would hurt. This meal comes together quickly because none of this takes a very long time.
Wow. It's, not outrageously expensive either.
So no, these were $6 at Schnucks. They're like 3/4 of an inch probably. So I'm a medium rare and you're a medium. So medium rare is roughly 130-ish degrees. Medium's 135 to 140 at the most.
Yeah.
It doesn't take more than 3 minutes aside.
Can you tell that to that place we ate at this past weekend?
Oh my Lord. Yeah, don't say the name of that place.
I didn't. Why?
Because when you pay a buttload of money for a steak, you expect it to be done correctly.
It was a thick steak. It was nice and thick, but that was about it.
I have to drink in, and I'm wondering what my drink is.
Lightweight.
Mm-hmm. Very much lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I feel like that needs some seasoning. I don't have my recipe, so I don't remember what else is in there. Salt and pepper.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do lots of stuff in my cream sauce.
So white pepper?
So white pepper, a lot of white pepper, apparently.
I like pepper. Pepper's good for you.
And I didn't, you know what, I've got some garlic paste. Let me sneak in behind you here.
Okay.
So if you forget to actually add the garlic and cook it, use dried garlic or garlic paste. Otherwise, your garlic's going to taste like it's raw, which might be okay, but why not? And I'll show you guys what this looks like. I'm losing my place again.
You are.
Might actually put some of this on the steak too. So this is pureed garlic and a garlic paste. Oh, yeah. So, see that. It's yummy. I'll leave that out. Well, I don't have to eat on yet either. Too much flour. We I overestimated the amount of flour for that one.
Because you measured with the heart and not with the measuring cup.
I was mostly kind of freaking out because the internet went down, and
I think it was because you were measuring with the heart.
I think it's because I want more sauce than what the recipe calls for. So we're just gonna make more sauce than the recipe calls for.
That's fine.
She knows we're having steak, that little dog. Or at least still we are. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yummy. I can't even get under that one. So in cast iron, they're going to get a nice little char on there. If you do these on the grill, same timing really. Your grill is going to be about 500 degrees, and that cast iron is probably at 400, 450. And mine's going to come off much sooner in the end. Stuff David said. Fully David said, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I season these with salt and pepper. The steaks to begin with, and I always let them sit at room temperature to come to room temperature. So they sit out for about 30 minutes before I cook them. And the reason you do that is so they are at an even temperature throughout before you start cooking.
Oh.
Otherwise, you're going to have cold hit hot, and it's going to cook uneven, and then your middle's going to not be done, and just all sorts of issues. So.
What was the issue that the place had that we went last week?
Way overcooked was that issue.
So it had nothing to do with tempering it.
I have no idea what it had to do with.
It had to do with leaving it on the grill for too damn long.
Exactly what it had to do with. And not seasoned either. I was kind of disappointed in that place. So we will check these just so I can show you guys how to check them. Skinny steak, skinny thermometer. Maybe not through the fat part, but okay, fine. We're gonna go on the other side. Into the middle so you get a good temp. And we're done. 139. And you will want to let these rest.
Yep, always let them rest.
I didn't do anything to these, no butter, no nothing.
There's salt, pepper.
Yeah, I mean, you could do the whole butter thing and whatever, but. Okay.
It's the way you're supposed to do it. Salt, pepper.
Moving that out of the way. And I'm going to get these guys out because they're going to cool down a little bit. Still, so you can kind of see how bright green those are.
Those are beautiful green.
Hmm.
And a pasty white.
Hmm. Hold that back. Yeah, I just needed them to work like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you get this up, please? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have a sauce to show you guys how to fit out.
Deglaze in flavor?
Yeah, if you wanted to build a sauce for your steak, absolutely deglaze that pan with some white red wine.
Mm-hmm. Which flavor, red or white?
Red for steak.
Okay.
Okay. So that was really yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's good. Okay.
No.
So good.
Mm-hmm. So you're doing more cream?
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I'm going to thin it out a little bit more.
Okay.
Then we're going to kind of rewarm the scallops. So all of that juice from the scallops is going to go in here. I'm going to plate the scallops in those little scallop shells. And then we're going to toss our pasta in the rest of it.
You don't have to give me a shell. I just want scallops.
Okay.
I'm not picky. I'm not fancy.
Man, this came together. It's like barely after 7 o'clock.
Maybe that's kind of the way it's supposed to.
Well, I know. Usually it takes longer. All right, so there's still quite a bit of juice in here.
No. Scallops.
Sous chef.
Got it.
And I'm just gonna stir this to get that juice back in. This cream, let these little guys reheat.
Let me know when we want our pasta.
Well, we might do, you know what? We're gonna do this totally different than what I had intended. Throw me that pasta.
What I was thinking that sauce was for was the pasta,
Well, let me, hang
not
on,
the scallops.
hold that thought. Let me at least do one of these so I can kind of see.
Okay. No, let's do the original way you intended.
Okay, then I'll do the original way I intended.
Mhm.
So if you wanted to serve these as like a little appetizer, I don't have any fresh herbs or anything. A little bit of that. And what I do have,
We need a plate.
we need a plate, yes, or two.
They can't see that. I mean,
Oh, I know, I'm just doing it to.
well, here, I'll add it over. I'll switch it over. There, now they can see it.
Because we have lime in the
Coconut.
lime in the coconut, lime in the sauce. We can actually garnish it with a little lime because there's oranges in Florida. And I've already done that to the orange. We'll do some orange on there too.
Uh-oh. Let me turn this off.
Yeah, sure, thank you. So that would be a little appetizer portion if you wanted to serve this as an appetizer.
Well, we're not serving it as an appetizer. We're serving it.
Did you get that for yourself? Okay.
Plate's right there.
I think we're mostly gonna step on a dog.
I'll figure it out eventually.
All right, so these guys have rested a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a steak.
I'm gonna clean this one.
Clean that one. I don't plate. I just plonk.
We're back to the main screen.
Yeah. I really need to get those scallops out of there to do the pasta, but I'm not going to. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of different ways you guys could do this. Hold that thought. Try not to step on the dog. All right, so this is, will you hit me here, please?
Yeah.
Pappardelle pasta, and it's been sitting a little bit, so I'm gonna have to break it up. But they're wide egg noodles. There's one. And I just, yeah, it's not cooperating. I cooked it before we started, so it would all be done. So I'm gonna have to break that back up because I just let it sit over here. If you store pasta, you can store it in water. That's kind of a restaurant trick. I always store mine in a little bit of olive oil though, because I don't like the water trick. I think it sogs it.
Is this my
Sure.
appetizer?
Sure. Have at it. So now we can take it off of this. I'm going to have to break this pasta up. I would not pass culinary school tonight, but it's going to taste good.
I think that's more important than the way it looks.
I do too. So this way you could, well, that really did stick together. Reheat the pasta so it breaks up, but then you'd have a whole different dish altogether with the pasta and the little citrusy cream sauce with the scallops in there.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Now she's breaking up. Impatient much? No, I'm gonna let it warm up a little bit.
Waiting. Not
I'm
impatient.
waiting for the pasta to come apart. Questions from anyone? We lost you there in the middle somewhere because of
Internet issues.
internet issues. So
Hopefully all of you guys are still sticking around. Oh, I only got one left.
that's okay. It may have gone out again.
Well, let's see who it is.
All right, I'll take that. You'll get extra scallops with your pasta.
That's what I want. I want lots of scallops.
All right, whoop, a little bit of pasta. You could garnish that also with some lime zest if you wanted to, but Chili Davis is hungry, so look up this. Thank you. There you go. Nothing fancy there. And that is all she wrote, folks. With somewhere in there, there's some asparagus.
Let's put that on.
Got it?
Oh, yeah. There is the meal.
There it is. So 3 different ways you could do it. Just as kind of a sauce with your asparagus, as an appetizer that we're just going to eat if you wanted to.
Who's this we?
You
Right.
going to eat,
That's right.
and you don't have to have cute little shells. A little plate would be fine,
Mhm.
or tossed right in with some pasta. So 3 different ways you can do the same dish,
Mhm.
and we're going to eat them all 3 tonight.
Right. It's date night, folks.
Yeah, my steak might be lunch tomorrow, to be honest with you.
Good.
So
Fine with me.
we managed.
You're right in the middle of it. You can't be seen with that. Right there you go. Step to the side.
Oh my Lord. All right, switch it back to me and I'll move this out of the way.
So you just spin it.
I know. I'm spinning.
This pop will spin.
All right, folks, there you have it. So scallops 3 ways, some pan-seared steak real fast.
Yep.
And roasted asparagus, pretty simply put. A very hot Nikki, because man,
Yes.
if I had my own cooking show, I'd have to have it at like 55 degrees in the studio or I'd croak. On that note, thanks for hanging in there with us tonight with all of the internet issues, and we will see you next Thursday with some other fun thing to eat. I have no idea.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
And to drink.
Oh, definitely something to drink.
And maybe an air conditioner.
Maybe.